All right, everybody, we're ready. Garrett is the chairperson. Yes, yeah, Garrett's our chairperson. You can take it away when you're ready. All right.
Welcome, everybody, to the member PCC meeting. Nice to have you here. Thanks for bringing us here. This is kind of cool. We'll open up with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a roll call
All right, Niagara County,
here.
Niagara Falls,
Present.
DOT,
Present.
Clearway,
Here.
Erie County, present, Buffalo,
Present.
NFTA,
Present.
all accounted for.
Thank you. Everybody has the agenda in front of them. Any comments on that? Would you like to move it?
Yeah, motion to approve.
Erie County seconds.
Made and seconded. Any questions? In favor?
Aye.
So moved. Previous minutes from October 7th. I had a chance to take a look at those.
Erie County makes a motion to accept the way they are.
DOT a second. Motion made and seconded. Any other questions? In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Communications, Angelica.
All right, communications reports. Okay, so for our community engagement, the month of October 2025, our community engagement, stakeholder engagement, it's a little bit shorter than it was the previous month. We had our PCC meeting that happened October 7th, and then we also had a Fall Fest movie night for the Northtown Community Trails Project pop-up, which happened on October 4th. Stakeholder engagement, we had the Association of General Contractors Region 5 Ball meeting and the New York Upstate APA conference, which Kelly attended. Also, we had the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, Upstate New York port briefing that Rich and a couple other counties attended as well. For public notices, we sent out our policy and PCC meeting and our DBRC news and updates emails that have been getting sent out for a couple months now. That way we share outside of GBNRCC updates. We also share our members updates in that email for all to see. Website, we have our top 5 visitor pages, our main page being map, map and data, tip, long range plan, and UPWP. We also had our top keywords, GBNRTC, Buffalo Bike Path, Region Central. Our website visit increased 14% from the month before. This month, all of our followers went up, including Twitter, that has been going down for like the last 6 months, like 1 here, 2 there. But for the first time in 6 months, we actually went up in followers in Twitter, which is great. It's only 2, but we still celebrate that. As far as public commentary, last month we mentioned that there were still comments coming in when we had our meeting for the documents, the draft documents that were still kind of open for public commentary. So you will see in the report some of those that were left out from the previous communications report. These comments include, during that time from that meeting to today, and all of which were acknowledged and added to the individual project report. So you won't see all of the comments here since they kind of split between last meeting and this meeting, but we did add on here the ones that weren't on that previous report. For the Buffalo Niagara Comprehensive Climate Action Plan, the Draft Governance and Operations Plan, and the Public Participation Plan, PPP. Additional, we did have 2 general requests for the inclusion to the New Rail Committee, which was one was submitted by CRT and the other one was submitted by Town of DeSantis. So that is essentially what we have on here as far as communication updates. As always, if you guys really wanted to dig deeper into our website traffic and engagement, I do add the graphs on here to kind of give you a picture of what it is. And that concludes the communications report for October.
Great. Thank you for that. Right, so we will move on to public participation. Is there somewhere you would like to be?
Stand at podium.
Stand at the podium? Okay, so if anybody would like to make comments, feel free to stand at the podium. Keep your comments concise, for about 3 minutes.
No, it's not on. You just speak loud. Take your voice.
This may not fall into the realm of public comment, but some of you may have been here last month when Doug reported that he was found on the side of the road after falling off his bicycle. He tried to recover. He had more falling. He's currently in the hospital. He had 2 procedures done this week. They had to drain his brains with some fluids. And I just want to let you know, I talked to him yesterday. He's all right. He's feeling good enough to go back in the cell as president of CRT. Stay away for a little while. And I just wanted to let you know he's okay. I don't know if his daughter brought him his computer. If she did, he might be. I don't know. CRT is really happy that we were able to get, and just listening to your Facebook views, we put on a big campaign to get public comments for the Amherst extension of Metro Rail. We managed to get 14,400 views on Facebook, which we never got anything that high. And Darren, I'm not going to steal your thunder, so you can tell them what happened. It's your turn. But we're just delighted. Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody online?
No.
Well, then we'll move on to our action items.
Good afternoon, everybody. The first plan that we're going to talk about today is our governance and operations plan. For those of you who have been around for a long time, you may remember our last governance plan, which was updated in 2010. That was called a framework for government. Framework for governance. So that was the last time it was updated. So we wanted to go through, do a complete rewrite. We wanted to make sure that all of our governance and operations and procedures were all documented. As future generations will continue our transportation work here at GBRTC, we want to make sure everything is documented, up to date. And any new members come in, they can also get familiar with how things are run. So the basic organization structure pretty much stays the same. Our highest board is our policy committee, followed by our planning and coordinating committee. That planning and coordinating committee are assisted by what are called regional stakeholders. So those are non-voting members that have a direct line to PCC. From PCC, we have PCC subcommittees and ad hoc committees, which can help PCC accomplish different tasks and be organized to help them get those tasks done. Currently, there's 3 PCC subcommittees combined: the administrative, transportation project subcommittee, and a long-range planning subcommittee. Going to be activated very soon as the long-range plan updates come. Assisting those subcommittees, we have what are called working groups. So these are, it's not as structured as a subcommittee, it's more as a looser, organized committee that assists the PCC subcommittees get their job done. Those are staffed by a GB and RTC staff member. However, they're made up of community members, members of the public, interest groups, and so on, based on the specific topic. At the onset, we envisioned 3 different working groups: passenger rail working group that looks at regional passenger rail issues, active transportation working group, and a safety action. Our race plan has been completed, and we're looking to get that implemented. So the different components, so we went from a 15-page document to a 67-page document. So pretty much we do the same work. We're just, as I said, we're just kind of defining what it is that we do here. So there are several major components, which I encourage everybody to look at the document and go into more detail. But those include what the federal regulations, laws, and requirements that we must follow are, what our structure and function is. We revised and updated our bylaws, including committee roles and responsibilities. This one's kind of interesting because our bylaws really haven't been changed since they were defined when the MPO was created back in the early 70s. So that's a pretty significant step. Also talk about how MPOs are designated and why and how they become redesignated. Our meeting rules and voting procedures as we follow Robert's standard procedures. And how different items are voted on, how many members need to vote yes, no, just like that. Clarity on document approval process, voting procedures, and our working group and subcommittee work plan templates. So we're requiring all subcommittees and working groups to create a work plan at the end of the year to talk about what kind of work they are envisioning the following year. We're also adding NITEC as one of those regional strategic stakeholders. So I guess I won't welcome you just yet. We'll wait for policy to do that. So we did run our standard 30-day public review from September 5th to October 6th. We received 3 comments, all were positive. Some of those were in support of the passenger rail working group, saying that it's very much needed. There's a lot of interest in the area, and that this would be a great way for individuals and interest groups to get their input into the MPO in an official way. There's another quote. This update is a significant improvement in defining the history and trajectory of MPOs generally and specifically. The implementation of the requirements of Title VI must be commended. GBNRTC has always made superlative efforts in trying to reach out amongst various agency representatives and truly striving to be inclusive in this outreach, as well as being earnest in bringing opportunity to participate. And regional strategic stakeholders has always been provided the opportunity for greater participation in the development of Western New York transportation. So nice, always nice to hear praise. We appreciate it. We appreciate that people read the document and certainly that you enjoyed it and thought it was worth. Members completed an initial 30-day public 30-day review and a final 7-day review once all of the comments were incorporated. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. But today we're here to recommend approval of this document to the policy.
All right. Do you have any questions or comments?
Just to thank the staff for all the hard work on this. It's not probably the most interesting thing we're on. So
I enjoyed it.
You're a special kind.
I am.
Those.
What do you recommend approval?
I will make a motion to approve.
Motion made and seconded. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Kelly.
Good afternoon. So we have reached a milestone in our EPA climate pollution reduction grant with the second major deliverable of this endeavor, the comprehensive climate action plan. I know most of you are very familiar with this document by now, but just wanted to go through and do a review of the final draft and the important feedback that we did receive and what's been incorporated into the final plan. So This plan builds off of what we started about 10 years ago, with the One Region Forward Regional Plan for Sustainable Development. Climate adaptation and mitigation was one of the 5 key focus areas for the One Region Forward effort. As part of this planning exercise for the grant, we conducted our greenhouse gas inventory update. We understand that 41% of our emissions overall in our region come from transportation. So we're really excited to be moving forward and digging deeper to this effort to build out what was started under One Region Forward in 2015. So this final plan complies with all EPA requirements, which includes the greenhouse gas inventory just mentioned, the reduction measures and targets going forward up to 2050, and also our emissions projections for the region and across the various sectors. A benefits analysis, so benefits beyond greenhouse gas reductions, health benefits, economic benefits to implementing the actions within the plan, as well as a workforce planning analysis that talks about as we transfer in our energy economy, what jobs may be lost in that transition, but also the workforce opportunities that are coming with the energy transition that we want to focus on, particularly for our region, work with our workforce development partners on educational and technical development to take advantage of those opportunities going forward. And the last key requirement is the implementation authority, who are the major organization and agencies, actors that have that authority implementation across the 7 different sectors. And the funding assessment identifies funding and resources to foster implementation efforts as we go forward. This comprehensive climate action plan also sets a regional target, again, looking up to 2050. Lots of moving parts, lots of uncertainty. With that, we have developed a range for regional targets that is a range between our current trajectory of what we're on, which would be a 0.8 annual reduction, up to a doubling down of that rate annually, which would be a 1.7. So within that range, that's what we're looking to hit as we move forward. It builds on the mitigation activities in our long range plan, and it also works towards the goals of the state's CLCPA. So just a little detail on the changes incorporated. Again, I know you guys are familiar with this, so I don't want to take up too much time. Next slide. But just in terms of the next, the 10-day actions as a quick refresh of the actions that serve as the framework of the plan. If you could hit the slide one more time. Sorry. So what's highlighted here, but it's actually behind the screen for some reason with formatting, we did add boost multimodal transportation options to the compact and walkable forms of land use and development. So recognizing that to reduce our vehicle miles traveled, multimodal options are important. We want to stress that. So that was added into that particular action. And then when it comes to our agricultural sector action, we wanted to stress that the resources will be needed to continue to expand and build upon sustainable practices in our farm operations, increase that sustainability effort, given that this is such an important sector for the Western New York economy, but to focus on that to help reduce GHG going forward. And there's already been a lot of work done to date, but we want to build upon that. Next slide. And then just in terms of the different sectors of the plan, we received some great feedback on the transportation and land use sections. One of the things pointed out in the public comments, again, was that strong connection between transportation and land use that we talked a lot about around this table. I think if you recall at our last policy meeting, Doug Funky from CRT expressed some concern about public transit and that being incorporated into the plan. The way that the plan was developed, we have heavy emphasis on reducing GHGs for the requirements of EPA. So in the transportation section, there's a lot of focus on EVs, clean fuel, clean vehicles of all sorts. And then in land use and compact development, we get into more infrastructure related measures of development, but also the types of infrastructure improvements to increase multimodal options, connectivity, obviously to public transit, but those first and last mile efforts to get people to fix for public transit. So we didn't want that to get lost. It was a good point that was made by those that commented on the plan. And with that, we added a note at the beginning of the transportation section for readers to call out that for additional detail on multimodal options and other efforts to reduce VMT, vehicle miles traveled, that can be found in the land use and combat development action section. Next slide. On the industry side, through our working group sessions, we've heard a lot about data centers and the concern of these high energy use facilities. We already have some here in Western New York. We're probably going to see more, but the need for land use tools, zoning ordinances, to have those kind of on the ready so that municipalities are prepared in advance with that type of information beforehand. Waste side, we received some good feedback on some additional detail and zoning specifics for composting opportunities in the region. We tightened up some of the metrics in our agricultural sector to call out the number of acres involved in sustainable crop production, to break that down a little bit more crisply, and are able to do that through the information available in the census. So that was a good comment. And then lastly, on the implementation toolkit at the end of the plan, we tightened up the flow of that to reorder the toolkit to follow the flow of actions as they were in the plan. So that was a good catch, and we appreciate that feedback. We also added some information on some additional resources, so many of which through New York State to help with implementation efforts as we go forward. So on the review side of the plan, our 30-day public review concluded on October 6th. During that review period, we've had 2 public meetings. 6 individuals provided detailed comments that we have addressed. And I'm happy to answer any questions on the plan. The action before the committee today is the approval or recommendation rather of the comprehensive common action plan policy. I know you're very familiar with it.
Yeah.
Anybody has any comments or questions? Take action.
DOT will make a motion to policy.
And then TA second.
Motion made and seconded. In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you.
With participation.
Today, I'm here to present to you resolution 2025-34, our public participation plan. As you know, this is the federally required document for the MPO, and it outlines how the QNRTC engages with the public and the transportation planning to be as decision making process. So, as part of this update, I just wanted to point out 3 different highlights or key changes to the document. First, is we originally had Facebook Live mentioned specifically in our document. We have removed that just to have you talk about, of course, we want to maintain virtual meetings, but there's a lot of different platforms that you want some opportunity to be able to utilize those. So just taking out Facebook Live. Also changed our Metropolitan Transportation Plan, reference to that to the long range transportation plan. And this is for consistency across our planning data. And then we removed references to a couple of rescinded executive orders, EO 12898 and EO 13116. So those were removed from our documentation. The improving access to services for persons with limited English proficiency. I do want to mention that although it's not required anymore, we do have an LED plan that we maintain. It's not required under law. And we, as required, have a 45-day public review and commentaries that was completed in October 20th. We did have a public meeting held on September 24th, and we received 2 comments, addressed those comments as well, and those are included in your packet. So today's action, if there are any questions, is to recommend approval of the public participation plan via resolution 2025-34 to policy. Are there any questions?
This one partially for you, but maybe for all of them. And I apologize if I missed it in my careful review of the documents. How often are we going to update each of these? I know the public participation plans. And I don't know if there's requirements to update that.
There isn't a requirement for the public participation plan to clear about. I mean, when the feds have recommended about 5 years because of the changes in legislation, we did do a little sooner than we normally would, and then some of the changes with the basic flag.
Yeah. To be real blunt, that was the driver. We specifically said Facebook Live. Since we started, Facebook Live, number one, you used to not have to have an account. Now you do. We've noticed they've been deleting some of our old videos, which we don't want. Were there any other issues, Kim and Angelica?
Just getting it to work.
Yeah, right, and it's driving Kim nuts. So we talked to the feds. We wanted just to go to a Zoom platform, but because we specifically had Facebook Live in here, they said we need to change the plan to just be broad. So now, whatever technology we want to use going forward, we can do it without changing these plans. But generally, we'll look at 5 years for PPP because there is not a specific timeline that's required.
Okay. How about the other plans that we just adopted?
So the Title VI too, so we have made updates to it for to be consistent with the EO environmental justice. I guess we need to speak internally.
Yeah, we didn't. There's not specific timelines. Might not be a bad idea. That as we get certified every 4 years, as we're going into that, we at least look at them internally and be ready to say to FHWA and FTA, we're good or we need updates. So we'll solidify that somehow, some way. Comment. We got to spread them out though.
Yeah.
There is going to come a point, and I did the math, that the long range plan and the tip will be doing the same year, and that just happens because the long range plan is 5 years, the tip is just 3 years, I think. So there's a point where the calendar is going to collide. We're not there yet.
Anybody else?
Motion to approve resolution.
Erie County seconds.
Motion made and seconded, work out, all in favor,
Aye.
opposed? So. All right, back to Rich.
Back to the tip. So we have 2 action items regarding the current tip. The first is a set of new projects to Amendment 43. You may have read in the papers, the governor has announced some paving projects across New York State, the different regions. So this action will add those projects, GP and RTC FPO area to the current tip. So there are 5 repaving projects. I'm going to go through all of those quickly. The first 5B 2631 is on the I-990 from the I-290 to North Branch Road. Project will overlay travel lanes including the ramps with a paver-placed surface treatment, extending the life of the existing pavement. The let is scheduled for February of 2026, design approval scheduled for fall of 25. Total estimated cost $2.84 million. And that money will be allocated from state, federal funds, statewide allocated federal funds, 100%. The second project, 5B 2642. This is on the 219. Asphalt overlay from Dewar Road to two bridges over Fisher Road and the I-90. The project will rehabilitate the road with a 1-inch asphalt overlay, preventive maintenance treatment. Let is scheduled for January 26th. Total estimated cost on this project is $2.146 million. Once again, being provided by statewide allocated federal funds. 5B 2643, New York 240 from Davis Road to New York 277. This will rehabilitate the pavement with a single course mill and asphalt overlay. Let scheduled for January of 2026. Total estimated cost of $879,000 and fiscal constraint coming 100% to statewide allocated. The next project is 3 different pavements, 58, 16, 29, maintenance paving, various locations in Erie County. So this will restore the pavements to good condition of at least pavement score 8 using cost-effective treatments and will provide 8 years of additional service. Those routes include Niagara Falls Boulevard from Kenmore Ave to Sheridan Drive, Broadway from Gold Street to Dick Road, and Millersport Highway from Egger to Harvard. Let is scheduled for March of 26 at a total cost of $7.67 million. Fiscal constraint is maintained as $70,000 will be transferred from the existing pavement maintenance block. $6.772 million will be transferred from statewide allocated federal funds, and the remainder will come from state funds. Finally, moving up north Niagara County, 581630, I-190, New York 31 to Queenston Lewiston Bridge, and the LaSalle Expressway from I-190 to Williams Road. Once again, the project will restore pavements to good condition of pavement scores of at least 8, using cost-effective treatments to last at least 8 years. It will also remove and replace any deteriorated and or outrated guide rails at specified locations. The let is scheduled for March of 26. Total estimated cost for those two are $8.885 million. 7.829 of that coming from statewide allocated federal funds. The remainder is funded through state funds. ITG has been consulted for concurrence on a proposed transportation conformity exception. That code was A10, pavement resurfacing and rehabilitation. Public comments will be received for 30 days, and that will go from tomorrow, 11/6/25, to close of business on 12/8 as 12/6 is on. There are no questions. Today's action would be to achieve 30-day review. DOT, have anything to add to this?
Yeah, sorry to monopolize the slides today. Just so everyone knows in the email that was sent out, which is to recap, these projects were part of 2 statewide initiatives that funded maintenance paving throughout the entire state. Within Region 5, we were allocated about $40 million for maintenance paving. What you see here are the ones that need tip actions, which are federally funded. Besides those projects that you saw today, There were 14 other projects, some in the MPO area that were all state funded and some that were in the non-MPO areas. Just to give you an idea of the entire program, with the regional funds that we added, it came out to around 46 million total of maintenance paving that we added to the region for next year.
Question. You said the current tip. What's considered the current tip?
Well,
Sorry.
we do not know when final. So it could possibly be on the next tip, but we're aiming to get it on.
Okay, but
Because
we're
even
bidding,
though we approved the new tip,
right,
the state and the feds still. They have to go through a 30-day.
so the fact you're bidding these in March of 26, how does that work with?
So we're getting this through now because we have to progress these to be able to build them next year. If the new tip is not approved in time, you go on the old tip, we'll have to come back, and add them to the new tip as well. But we're doing the 30-day public review now, we won't have to do that later on.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Action.
Mary Carol makes a motion to submit for initiate public review.
Agricultural second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, the last action item for you today is a project modification. This is an existing project on our current tip. 1057-64-25 Ewings Road over 18 Mile Creek. This is a Niagara County project. The request was to delay construction and construction inspection from 9/25 in federal fiscal year 25 to 12/25 in federal fiscal year 26. The explanation for the delay was that DOT's comments on PSC documents were not resolved in time. They did not come in until October. Fiscal constraint will be maintained as the total cost of both phases is unchanged. Once the new tip is approved, a federal fiscal year's 26 offset taken from Niagara County share of the 5B 6287 project, local infrastructure renewal. You guys not have anything to add to this?
Now, just to clarify, just so the project didn't move from federal fiscal year 25 to 26. So as Rich noted, there'll be an offset taken. Those blocks that we set aside for the locals, with money that was set aside that wasn't met to their targets. The likelihood is to use that to offset cost of this as it moves to the new program. So.
For those in the public, when a project goes from one federal fiscal year to the other, if the money doesn't follow the project, so we follow funding, it's hard to fund that project. Okay, so today's action would be to approve the letter.
DOT makes a motion.
40 seconds.
Motion made and seconded. Are there any other questions on this? In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. All right, that's it for our action items. So we will move on to our discussion items. Rich, we're not done yet.
Now, these are quick. The first is TPS action item approvals. There was a discussion of a couple of projects that are going to move wet dates, and those were not ready. So no tip action approvals were made to be reported on. Moving into public review, there's only one item in public review right now. That's our 2026 highway safety performance measure targets. As per Highway Safety Improvement Program Final Rule 23 CFR 490, states are required to set targets for 5 safety performance measures. Those include number of fatalities, fatality rate, number of serious injuries, serious injury rate, and number of non-motorized fatalities and serious injuries. GB and ITC as an MPO has the option to either set their own targets or adopt the statewide targets, which are based on 5-year rolling averages. The GB and RTC has decided to use those statewide targets, which are shown on the screen. I also included the 2025 targets to show you how they changed. Existing targets. Public review will continue on this until 11/17. So we encourage the public to look this over and send us any comments if you have them, and we will promptly respond to those. Currently, no comments have been received. That's all I have.
Thanks, Rich. Moving on to our status reports, our agency reports. Start out with DOT.
DOT has nothing today.
Calls,
Nothing new at this time.
Ruway,
It's nothing.
Upload.
Just a couple of quick notes. We have two projects on the current tip that are going to a public meeting. Will be shared through GB and PCC's channels, so keep an eye out for those two projects, Jacqueline and Louisiana.
Erie County, we're rebidding one of our federal aid projects right now. And just trying to get everything done before it snows.
You're not alone. The PA.
I wanted to give an update on the status of the draft environmental impact statement for our environmental impact statement for Metro Rail expansion. In response to the DEIS, approximately 750 submissions were received with 1,350 individual comments within those submissions. Of all the comments, about 70% of those comments were in favor of the Metro Transit expansion project and 20% were in opposition, 10% neutral. The most common themes, in addition to project support or opposition, included a build alternative preference, comparison of alternatives, cost and funding, and support for other transit alignments, as well as land use and traffic. We received agency letters from US EPA, the Department of Interior, Town of Amherst, and New York State DOT. So we're in the process of preparing a response to all the substantive comments received for inclusion in the final environmental impact statement anticipated to be released by Federal Transit by the end of the year or early 2026. At the same time, we're continuing our preliminary design efforts towards about 30% design. And we hope to enter into the CIG program project development process sometime in the coming months. Thanks.
Hi, Tech here. I didn't promise a bit today.
No updates. I know I was tracking the projects and now we're just getting ready for all our interim.
Buddies. Nothing from Niagara County. Director's report.
Okay, before I welcome our new hires, I just wanted to clarify, Nolan, you mentioned two public meetings, Louisiana, what was the other one?
Jacqueline Trail.
Trail, okay. I missed the trail, which is an important.
I think I didn't say it.
Okay, yeah, so Skujaqua Trail, not Skujaqua roadway. Yes, but for the public, I think that's an important.
Make sure everyone's listening.
Yeah, I caught that. So I want to welcome our new hires. So Brendan Seeney's here. Brendan is a transportation planner too, comes to us from Go Bike Buffalo, was the director of planning there. We're very excited. He started last week, I lose track, and hit the ground running. So that's very exciting. We also have Matt Tulo back with us. If you might remember Matt from our internship program, did a little time at the Thruway doing construction inspection, and now is back with us full time. We're going to have one more that I'll announce. He's finishing his semester. Will be starting with us in mid-December. So probably at the January PCC meeting, I'll welcome our third, and that should be enough hiring for a little while. So that's all for me.
Okay. Any other items for PCC? I don't entertain a motion.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We'll move on.
Taking a 2-minute break.
I think we're just gonna do a seat switch and roll.
So I'll get out of
It's just time for Darren.
Blank plates. Listen.
All right. We get a roll call by Mike,
So DOT,
present.
Niagara Falls,
President.
Thruway,
President.
New Buffalo,
President.
Erie County,
Present.
Niagara County, NFTA.
Here.
All members are present.
All righty. Everyone had a chance to review the agenda. So motion to second.
Niagara Falls will make a motion to approve.
Second. Got a motion second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We had a chance to review the meeting minutes from last meeting. Any questions on last meeting minutes? Not to give a motion to approve. And second,
Erie County makes a motion to accept the meeting minutes the way they are.
Niagara Falls will second.
all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, move on to public participation. Could begin comments, please keep it to agenda items only. Just pull you right up here and keep the 3 minutes if possible. Oh,
Going on.
wishing well.
No one online, so we can move on.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to action items. Responsibilities, Rick.
I tried not to repeat myself too much. This is the skimmed down version. It's too long. So once again, we wanted to document our operations and procedures. This was last done in 2010. A lot of the operations and procedures hadn't been updated since the MPO was initially formed in the early 70s. We went through an extensive review of the other mid-sized MPOs in New York State, as well as state of the practice and MPOs across the country to see how they did things. Dug through a lot of archived documents. Quite interesting, especially seeing some of the names on those documents. So it was an interesting experience, but it wasn't the most exciting. Like I said, it was definitely an interesting experience and definitely necessary to continue on here. So members were fully involved. They were briefed during TPS. They also completed a 30-day public 30-day review of the document. Their comments were incorporated, and the final draft was sent to them for a 7-day review as well. So it's fully reviewed by our members. Once again, going over quickly the technical changes. There is an effort to codify all of the MPO requirements. So these are all the guidelines we have to follow and maintain our certification, and to make sure that we are doing transportation planning properly in Western New York. We revised our updated bylaws. As I said, they haven't been changed since the MPO were founded. Those were defined with committee roles and responsibilities. Also voting procedures. We included NITEC as a regional strategic stakeholder. He's been one of our most active members, so we decided it was time to award that and give her an official role as a regional strategic stakeholder. We provided clarity on the document approval process. When Mike first got here, one of his first questions was like, how do these things get approved? Which one needs to go to policy, which needs to go to PCC, and how many days do they need public review? So all of that has been defined. A lot of it was defined in the PPP update. So that's all incorporated into this document as well. And voting procedures, so that was incorporated. So for TPS and PCC, we need to have a quorum, and there needs to be a majority approval for an item to be approved. For policy, which we are at right now, it needs to be unanimous, and members need to be present to vote. So all of that was documented in that item, and that's about it. So today's action would be, now that we've been recommended by PCC, we're looking for approval of the governance and operations plan via resolution 2025-33.
All right, is there a motion and a second for this action item?
I just have one question. I probably could have asked this 1,000 times, sorry for asking. The NITEX included as a regional stakeholder, what does that actually, I mean, do they get a gift basket or?
Free donuts.
It basically just provides her current role.
Okay.
Or their current role, I should say. So they're more than just a typical member of the public. They're more involved in PCC decisions. They're at PCC meetings. They're reviewing documents, things like that.
It's kind of like a non-voting member.
Yeah, it's basically everything you do, except they don't.
They don't get the glamour.
Yeah.
Our other
Thank you.
regional member, Seneca Nation and Empire State.
Empire State Development
Okay.
and Niagara, Buffalo Niagara. We'll now have 4 strategic statements.
Make a motion to approve the document.
Niagara Falls will second.
All right, any other questions? All in favor?
Okay.
Opposed? Motion is approved. Thank you. Next action item, Nelly.
Hello again. So, back with resolution 2025-33 for our comprehensive climate action plan. Again, representing a major milestone where we are with this grant. In terms of this being the second major deliverable to EPA for this initiative. Just by way of review, the 10 big actions which serve as the framework for the plan, just tightened up a little with some additional language on 2 of the 10 actions. Big actions identified in the plan when it comes to our land use and comprehensive compact development action item to emphasize multimodal transportation options to reduce VMT, and also just resources for continuing to improve economic and environmental sustainability in our farm operations on the agricultural side of things. Again, emphasis on that transportation land use connection and making sure that the reader has that note to reference not only the transportation section itself, but the land use and compact development section to get a full breadth of the activities identified in the plan in terms of reducing vehicle miles traveled, to reduce GHG within our region. On the industry side of things, again, just emphasizing the importance of zoning ordinances and tools for municipalities to prepare for data centers that may be coming to our region going forward. Slide. Tightening up our agricultural metric to focus on the number of acres involved in sustainable practices. And then again, having that revision to the toolkit at the rear of the plan so that it mirrors how the actions are laid out in the plan itself. And we really envision those toolkits at the back, which are broken out for municipalities, for community organizations, and also for residents themselves to be broken out as separate documents that we're going to really focus on going forward as we move to implementation in the next phase. So those are the major changes tighten up this final document. Again, our 30-day public review between September 5 and October 6 has been completed. We did receive great feedback, not only from you all, which we thank you very much, but from the public as well, and really appreciate folks reviewing a very dense 160-page document. Again, happy to answer any questions, but the action item here before the policy committee is to approve the comprehensive plan action plan for submissions. Okay.
All right, for a motion in this second, this action item,
We make the motion for.
Erie County seconds.
any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion is approved.
Very much.
Thanks.
While we have you all here, I wanted to give you a little preview of phase 3. So following submission of planned EPA, as we're all aware, we're in a bit of a shutdown right now. So our EPA grant officer and staff are furloughed. We have been instructed and continue to just file our reports, submit the plan as instructed. But in terms of where we're headed from here, phase 3, the final deliverable of the plan is a status report in August of 2027. And those are the requirements listed up there of what will be included in that report. Takes a long time to reduce GHG. The original greenhouse gas inventory for the region was done in 2010. Transportation emissions then were 42%. We went down by 1%. So this update, we're at 41%. Going in the right direction. And again, how much movement we're going to see in transportation and some of these other sectors within a 2-year time frame, undetermined, but we will be looking at that and revisiting those other areas of the plan. What I do just want to focus on here is that last question there about resources needed for progress as we move to monitoring and implementation. Again, I asked this question of the One Region Forward Implementation Council, and which serves as the steering committee for the grant and for this project. Are there technical pieces of technical assistance, whether it be zoning or other things that municipalities or other organizations would like have as we think about framing our outreach, education and engagement efforts in phase 3? We understand that a lot of this transferring to our energy economy is new. And so if there are things that we might be able to provide that would be of assistance to the member agencies, to municipalities, we're very interested in that feedback. Anything might come to mind today, or let it simmer, and we'll be asking you again as we really get into phase. Any questions? Where we're headed?
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, action item C is East.
Not much new to add, but I'm here to request the approval of resolution 2025-34, our public participation plan. Listed on the slide are some of the changes, including removing Facebook Live, updating some of the terminology from metropolitan and the long range implementation plan, and then removing references to rescinded executive orders. We completed a 45-day public review and comment period on October 20th. We did hold one public meeting. It was hybrid on September 24th. We received 2 public comments, and those have been addressed in your package. We received one from the city of Jamestown, and then we received the appreciate that. So today's action is the approval of the 2025 community participation of the plan resolution 2025.
Right, can we get a motion and a second for this action item?
Cindy Buffalo, second.
Any other questions or discussion items on this one? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. Next on the agenda, discussion items. Mike.
Thanks, everybody. I wanted to go through this for a while, but with some of the other stuff that we've had, kind of let it sit. But we had our certification review in 2024. It was finalized. I think the letter is, yeah, there it is, May 2025. It took a while for the feds to issue the final letter because they were just about to. The administration changed in Washington and they had to hold it until they could get the final approval to go in new directions, like they are. But the important thing, and the thing that did not change, we got a full certification with no corrected act. And that image that I generated is ChatGPT's interpretation of GB&RTC winning the Super Bowl. When we got full certification with no corrective action. That's a real big thing for us. It sounds complicated, but a lot of hard work went into that. I really want to thank all the staff because that's a full review of everything that we do, and both as members and as staff, and I'm really proud of that. So I want to go through the commendations and recommendations so we can just have all the members aware of what our plan is going forward with certification. So first, the commendations. Now, of course, NITEC took some of the credit from us. The feds use the certification review to also look at NITEC. NITEC's so unique. There's not another one, but the feds really love NITEC. If you didn't know that. And they gave us a commendation for NITEC's all-road system. It's a continuation off of the ICM project, the integrated corridor management, right, Mike Davis, thank you. That was done, that preceded that, that everybody was involved with. It also received ITS New York's Outstanding ITS Project of the Year. The Regional Bike Master Plan also got a commendation, and they said it as an excellent example of best practice for bicycle planning, which I agree with. And the more experience that I get with the other MPOs across New York State, we're way ahead on that kind of work. Some other MPOs are doing bike planning, but nothing on the regional level that we're doing it. Now for the recommendations. So the first one was on the UPWP. They want us to capitalize on the success of Region Central and doing more corridor studies like that, using holistic, comprehensive approaches, incorporating transfer-oriented development. They didn't say the word PEL, but if you know about planning and environmental linkage, that's essentially what they're telling us. Keep doing PEL projects. Good news, Blue Water Tower is starting, and we've got more studies, PEL studies specifically considered for the next UPWP, which you'll get a chance to review. Actually, the member review starts later today. Then on the tip, consistent procedures to ensure that the long-range plan remains fiscally constrained when new projects are added to the tip. So in the past, we've brought new major projects, like for example, the Kensington was specifically added to the tip.